Adaaaa. You're watching the number one podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, and I'm your host, Jean Paul Leek. This is Ropebreak. How are you doing, family? Thursday afternoon. So you know what we're doing, the NXT UK review, the number one show, at least in my opinion, in professional wrestling. You know, we always say each and every week, they give us good stuff, great matches, storylines, everything that makes sense. This was another fine example of that, a great episode of NXT UK, obviously headlined with the main event, Noam Dar, Tyler Bate, Heritage Cup. I, was looking forward to this match. I know a lot of you guys were as well, and it did not disappoint. Pretty good card on the show, besides that. And, before we get into this episode of NXT UK, make sure you check out all the stuff that we have on the channel. Of course, we have Halloween Havoc. We have AEW Dynamite. So, go check that stuff out. Great stuff here. All of our thoughts in those reviews. So let's get started here. This show opened up with Mark Coffey. He had Wolfgang versus Rohan Raja, and he had Tio Man. And this match was really good. We saw this stuff last week, the feuds and everything. This all stemmed from the Heritage Cup where Wolfgang eliminated Tio Man. Then we saw the feud, and then Charlie Dempsey, all that stuff getting involved. So this, I was looking forward to this match as well because I'm a big fan of Tio Man and of Raja. And the match was good. Pretty much, I would say kind of even in the beginning, maybe, Coffey was, more dominant in control, but then Raja, he took advantage. He looked really strong too, kind of taking advantage of the bigger guy here. But then eventually, he just like a big, kind of insecurity kick to the head, sliding forearm uppercut. 1, 2, 3. Mark Coffey gets the win. But after the match, you see Rohan and Tio Man, they attack Gallus and everything. But the officials soon come out. They break it up. They're like, hey, the match is over. It's bullshit. Get out of here. So then the heels retreat. But good opening match. Then we get a video package of Sid Scala. He announces that there will be a triple threat match for the new number one contender for the NXT tag team titles. And that's going to be Symbiosis, Jack Stars, and Dave Mastiff, and then of course Ashton Smith and Oliver Carter. Really looking forward to that match as well. Any of those three teams, probably not Symbiosis because they're heels, but any of the two babyface teams I'd be fine with winning to go against your heel tag team champions. Then we see backstage, we see Charlie Dempsey. He's getting interviewed before his match, and they're like, oh, him and I forget the guy's name. I'll see it here in a little bit on my notes, but he's like, oh, we both trained in Japan. It's legit. But Gallus interrupts him again. They're like, hey, if you see Tio Man, they're like, because, you were there last week, with Tio Man. They're like, if you see him, you better tell us, where he is, let him know we're looking for him. But they're kind of pissed off. And then Dempsey said, this is the second week in a row. Like, this is kind of bullshit. So then he leaves. He gets a little annoyed. But then we see Mel versus Mila Grace, I guess how you say it. She's a new, at least new here for me. I don't remember seeing her before. And this was pretty much just a match to showcase, Amel, she looked really strong in this. I thought every time I see Amel, she gets better. She's easy on the eyes too, so that doesn't hurt. But, the main thing here, Blair Davenport came out. She was kind of watching all this happen. And Amel, she hits, the big boot, and then she hits her hope breaker, pins her 1, 2, 3. So good thing for Amel. We're going to see maybe the next feud of Mel versus Blair Davenport. And then backstage, we see Nina Samuels. She interviews Aaliyah James. They asked, the actual interviewers were interviewing her, and she's like, oh, it feels good to get the win. I've been here so long, to finally get a big win on TV, all this stuff. I'm going to keep moving forward, all this momentum. Nina Samuel's like, no, I should do the interviews, Nina Samuel show. They play the music, the little thing. And then she's like, now screw you. I don't want to talk to you. Like, she's like, I'm done with the interview. And then Nina Samuels is like, so, but I don't care for this with Nina Samuels. I think you could do more with her, but they're lost. Give everybody a talk show. That's WWE's, when they don't know what to do, they give you a talk show. Then earlier in the day, we see Flash Morgan Webster. This is like, to me, the most bullshit thing. This guy sucks. He's almost like Orange Cassidy levels of annoying at this point. He needs to just go back in the tag team and just that be it. Cause this new gimmick he has is stupid. He just, all he does is go up and slaps people, gets them angry and gets a match, but he keeps getting his ass kicked every time he does it. So I don't know how smart it is, especially when he goes up against guys twice his size like he's been doing. He goes up to Rampage Brown. He tries to slap him. Rampage Brown blocks it, slams him against the wall. And he's like, oh, you want to have a match? It's on. And then you see he's kind of like, oh, I got him. And it's like, no, he's going to get you next week. So this is stupid. Like I said, to me, just Flash Morgan Webster looks like a moron. Then we see, Charlie Dempsey versus Danny Jones. That's the name. So this match, again, Charlie Dempsey, huge fan of. I think this guy had, the world is, or the sky is the limit for this guy. Obviously, William Regal's kid. He's, trained legit. He respects the business and everything. You see that in his matches. The only thing here is, we know who he is. It's kind of like the same thing with Braun Breaker. Like, we know who the father is, even if the names, they change the names and everything. We know how legit this guy is. There's no reason he should be having as competitive as a match with Danny Jones. I've always seen Jones, even though he's always lost, we've seen him be competitive with some guys before, but I don't know if it would have been as competitive as it was here. But still, the cravats, the submissions, everything Dempsey does, the transitions, he doesn't. Tyler Bate does it good too, but his is always like the goofy, the funny, like it's entertaining. But Dempsey's is just so technical, so smooth. And, he got the win here. He pretty much hit kind of like a crossface chicken wing. And, as soon as he locked it in, locked both hands from the crossface and the chicken wing, Danny Jones tapped. So good win here for Dempsey. And then we get a video package for the NXT Women's Championship match between Meiko Satomura. Ginny says, like, you've been doing this for 20 years. After 20 years, you start to get weak. You start to get bullshit. And I'm going to take the title. Meiko fires back. And this is a good, I still think they're saving it up for a Blair Davenport to take the title off Meiko. So, I think, again, another successful title defense for her. But, this is still good. I'm looking forward to the match. I like their first match. So let me see a video promo for Isla Dawn. And it's kind of just like the same thing, the spooky. She's definitely, really good in this role, in this, this gimmick. It fits her naturally, the look, the accent, everything she says. But she hasn't done, get in the ring. You got to wrestle. You can't keep having these vignettes and not do anything. So I don't know. I want to see her in the ring soon. If not, like I said, these vignettes really don't mean anything. But here we are, NXT Heritage Cup Championship match, the main event we're all looking forward to. This was good. So obviously Shaw Samuels out there for Noam Dar, Trent Seven out there for Tyler Bate. That's going to play a little bit, not a little bit, but that's going to play into the ending, especially, on the Tyler Bate side. So round one, obviously, feeling out process, nothing too crazy happened here, but, you obviously need it to kind of set the pace here and everything. So both guys very even, nothing of major note here. In the second round, Tyler Bate, it was kind of just all of his special offense. Noam Dar was countering. Noam Dar wasn't really taking over or anything on his own, but, Bate goes for the airplane spin, but he gets out of it. He goes for the boop and bop, he gets out of it. He counters it. So all this stuff was really good, but eventually in the third round, and, just takes advantage, sends him outside of the ring. Shaw Samuels was there. He didn't get involved or anything, but, screaming at Tyler Bate, who said to the outside, eventually, back in. Bate's reeling. He hits that big Nova roller, 1, 2, 3. So Bate scores the first fall in the third round. Then in the fourth round, we see Tyler Bate, he hits his finisher, eventually after the Tyler driver, he kind of makes a big comeback. So he hits it. So then it's tied 1 apiece going into the fifth round. And then, just in this play, guys, it's pretty much a shot out of a cannon. They're going at it. They're trying to score that last pinfall because now momentum is even. It's like almost like sudden. It is sudden death. It's like, nobody wants to lose here. You saw Noam Dar, he went for the Tyler driver. Tyler Bate went for the knee bar. So, all this stuff, they started exchanging strikes, everything as this ends. So, you're getting really excited for the sixth round. Here it is. This is the big, this is where everything kind of goes to hell. And I didn't care for how they did the ending. It was creative, but let me just go to it. Essentially, these guys are going at it and everything, great action here. And you see eventually Pretty Deadly, they've come out. And you think, okay, as soon as they came out, you knew it was going to be a fuck finish. You knew it was going to be screwy. That I didn't care for. But I'm like, let me see how they did it. And, the way they did it, I will say, was pretty clever. And I got to give them props for it. These guys are going at it in the ring. You see Noam Dar, he has the knee bar on Tyler Bate. He's wrenching it in, but Tyler Bate's not going to tap. He's not going to give up, not going to submit to lose his Heritage Cup. They kind of Pretty Deadly. They have a white towel. They're teasing Trent Seven with it, shaking in his face, all this stuff, kind of, screwing with him. He grabs the towel and throws it to get rid of it, but he has his back to the ring. So he's not really seen where he's throwing the towel. Unfortunately, he throws this white towel right in the ring. The ref has his back turned to all this commotion because he's watching what's going on in the ring. All of a sudden, Tyler Bates, struggling in this knee bar, and the ref sees a white towel come flying in with the Mustache Mountain logo on it. Well, he thinks Trent Seven threw in the towel. He says, you know what? Trent Seven threw in the towel for Tyler Bate. He's done. He don't want to see his friend, break his knee. Noam Dar is the winner. So they ring the bell. Pretty Deadly's like, oh my God, they're laughing. They hightail it out of there. Trent Seven feels like shit. He's like, so Tyler Bate doesn't know what's going on. Noam Dar, Shaw Samuels are celebrating, going crazy. It was like a Renaissance painting when you see all these people reacting all these different ways. So, this was good. This was great in the way that like you now the next step. I don't think they're going to go after the tag belts because we already know who the number one contenders are. So the feud's not, the feud is now. I think next week we're going to see, or maybe in the following weeks, we're going to see Trent Seven come out. He's going to apologize. Tyler Bate's going to be pissed. He's going to maybe keep trying to make it right. Eventually, he's going to lead to a feud or something. So I'm looking forward to this. It was the right way to get these guys into a feud. The only thing is I wish just Noam Dar would have won clean, but I understand why they did it, to get this feud going with Trent Seven and Tyler Bate. But I think to legitimize Noam Dar, it would have been good to see him win clean, but he is a heel. So, maybe they got to keep those old tropes, but they're celebrating as the show goes off the air. New Heritage Cup champion, Noam Dar. So, guys, let me know what you thought. I thought this was a great episode of NXT UK from top to bottom. No real, major complaints. Like I said, the Flash Morgan Webster thing, Nina Samuel show, that's not for me, but overall, great episode of NXT UK. Let us know what you think. And also don't forget to, turn on the bell for all notifications. You won't miss any uploads. And also give the video a like, hit the thumbs up, and share it, and you share Ropebreak, and follow us on all of our social media as well. That's Ropebreak on Facebook, OG Ropebreak on Twitter, Original Ropebreak on Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok, and of course right here on YouTube, the home of the number one podcast in the YouTube wrestling community. So guys, thank you so much, and we will see you for Friday Night SmackDown.